CRNA School Rejection, what to do after getting a no. You checked your email. Or you logged into the portal. And it said no.
If you've been building towards CRNA school for years, spending nights in the ICU, studying for your CCRN, arranging shadowing hours, writing and rewriting your personal statement, a rejection doesn't just feel like a setback.
It feels like a verdict on whether you're capable of this at all. I want to tell you something, it's not. A rejection is data. And data can be acted on.
But there's a right and a wrong way to respond to a CRNA rejection, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the right way, step by step, so you can turn this into a launch point instead of an ending.
Before we get tactical, let me be direct, rejection hurts.
Especially when you've put years into preparing.
You're allowed to be disappointed. Take a day. Take a week.
Don't make any major decisions about your future while you're in the emotional valley.
What you should not do, rage email a program director, give up on CRNA school entirely, or reapply the next day in denial. All of those are emotional reactions, not strategic ones. When you're ready to think clearly, and usually that takes at least a few days, then we get to work. This is the single most valuable thing you can do after a rejection, and most applicants don't do it. Many CRNA programs will give you direct feedback on why you weren't accepted if you ask. Not all programs have the bandwidth to do this, but enough do that it's always worth trying. Here's how to ask. Call or email the admissions coordinator or program director. Keep it brief and professional. Something like, "Hello, I received a rejection notification for the 2027 cohort. I'm deeply committed to becoming a CRNA and would greatly appreciate any feedback you're able to share about my application. Specifically, I'd find it helpful to understand what areas were weakest and what I could strengthen for a future application. I understand if you're unable to share specifics, but any guidance would be greatly valued." Then stop. Don't defend yourself. Don't argue. Take notes. Common things you might hear. Your GPA was below our competitive range. Your ICU experience was limited or in a lower acuity setting. Your interview showed limited depth of clinical reasoning. Your references didn't speak specifically enough to clinical competency. Your personal statement was strong but didn't differentiate you. Each of those is a gift. Even if it stings. Whether or not you get program feedback, you can conduct your own honest audit. Look at your application with fresh, clear eyes and ask. On academic metrics, where did your GPA land compared to the program's published averages? If their typical admit has a 3.56 GPA and yours was 3.1, that's actionable. You can take graduate-level courses in physiology or pharmacology to demonstrate current academic capability. On ICU experience, how many years? What type of unit? What's the acuity? 1 year in a low-acuity community hospital ICU is meaningfully different from 2 years in a Level 1 trauma center PsyCU. Not all ICU experience is evaluated equally. On your personal statement, was it genuinely compelling, or was it generic? Did you articulate specifically why CRNA, not NP, not PA, is the path for you? Did you have a specific patient experience that grounded your motivation? Did you demonstrate understanding of what CRNAs actually do day to day? On your references, were your letter writers people who know your clinical work deeply and could speak to specific examples? Or were they people who wrote you a paragraph because you asked? On interview performance, if you got to the interview stage and still didn't advance, this is probably where it broke down. Did you practice answering clinical scenario questions out loud? Did you research the specific program? Did you demonstrate genuine self-awareness and communication skills? Be honest with yourself. Most people, on reflection, know where they were weak. Once you've identified your weak points, you can build a targeted improvement plan. Here's how to address the most common ones. Low GPA, you can't change your undergraduate GPA, but you can offset it. Take graduate-level science courses and ace them. Programs can see the upward trajectory. Even 1 semester of A-level graduate coursework demonstrates that you can handle rigor. ICU experience quality, If you're in a lower acuity ICU, it's worth considering a transfer.
A Level 1 trauma center psychu, CFICU, or neuro ICU will give you more complex cases, better references, and more to talk about in your personal statement and interviews.
Yes, it's a bigger commitment, but it's often the difference. Interview skills. This one is very fixable with practice. Most people who interview poorly do so because they've never practiced answering these questions out loud.
Get a mentor, ideally a CRNA or someone who has been through the process.
Do mock interviews. Record yourself.
The discomfort of practicing is much better than the discomfort of blanking in front of an admissions panel. References. Start building relationships now with letter writers who can genuinely speak to your clinical excellence.
Your ICU attending, the CRNA you shadow, a charge nurse who has watched you grow, these are the people whose letters carry weight. Personal statement, rewrite it. Not edit, rewrite.
If it sounds like a lot of other personal statements, it needs to be more specific, more honest, and more grounded in actual clinical experience.
When you reapply, do it strategically, not just as a do-over of the same application. Expand your program list.
If you applied to 5 programs last cycle, apply to 10 to 14 this time.
The broader your net, the more chances you have.
Use CRNA Tracker to compare programs by competitiveness level and identify schools where your profile is genuinely competitive.
Apply earlier. Rolling admissions programs fill seats progressively.
A strong application submitted in July will always have an advantage over the same application submitted in October.
Address what was weak. If your GPA was the issue, show the graduate courses you've taken. If your ICU experience was thin, document the additional time and complexity.
If your interview was weak, practice until you're genuinely confident.
Don't resubmit the same application and hope for a different result. Consider different programs.
There's no shame in identifying programs that are strong fits for your actual application profile. Tier your list, reach programs, solid fits, and more accessible options. Not every applicant belongs at Johns Hopkins or Duke. It doesn't mean they can't have outstanding careers as CRNAs from other excellent programs.
Let me leave you with something I think matters more than most applicants realize. The programs that rejected you aren't saying you can't be a CRNA.
They're saying they had more competitive applicants for the seats they had available.
That's it.
It's not a verdict on your intelligence, your capability, or your future. Some of the best CRNAs practicing today were rejected from their first-choice programs, took a year to strengthen their applications, and came back and got in.
The path wasn't straight, but they got there.
What separates applicants who eventually succeed from those who give up is simple. The ones who succeed treat rejection as data and act on it.
They get specific about what didn't work, they build a plan, and they execute it. That's exactly what you can do right now.
If this video helped you think more clearly about what comes next, smash the like button, subscribe for more CRNA content, and check the description for links to CRNA Tracker and our prerequisites checklist. Drop a comment below about where you are in the process. If you've been rejected and you're not sure what went wrong, tell me your situation. I read every comment and I'll share what I can.
You're not done. Not even close. See you in the next video.